Hey everybody, welcome back to the Auction Brief, where I cut through the narratives and the noise to bring you the best auction draft insight and strategy in the business. I'm your host, Drew Davenport, and thanks for joining me for episode 6, Myth Busting, the auction narrative of playing the waiting game. This is perhaps the number one myth that I see perpetuated in the auction draft community, and that is that simply sitting back and waiting will allow you to get deals on the player or players that you're targeting. Let me be clear right now and say this. You cannot manufacture deals and values by sitting on your butt. Now, I will say this. At the onesie positions, at the quarterback and tight end spot, it is a viable strategy to wait until the end of positional runs and snap up one of the last starter level positions. However, at the running back or wide receiver spot, or at the truly elite levels, like your Patrick Mahomes or George Kittle, that's simply not going to work. So you have to take a different tact. And that means you don't sit back on your pile of gold coins and lord over the draft waiting on things to happen. Instead, you have one or two ways to see value happen for your team. Number one is to pay attention. This is not a sexy piece of advice, but when you're grinding the draft room, the way you get deals is not by manufacturing it, but by paying attention and recognizing when it's happening in front of your eyes. That's when you jump in. That's when you score your big bargains. The second way you do it is through nomination sweet spots, and we talked about this before. But if you want Dalvin Cook, you nominate him when McCaffrey, Barkley, and Zeke are still on the board. Or if you want Cortland Sutton or Calvin Ridley, you nominate them when there's a glut of wide receivers still to be auctioned off. That's how you get deals on the more high-level players, not by sitting back on your butt and thinking it's just going to happen to you. Thank you for joining me in episode 6. A quick shout out to Paizel Surfboards for the t-shirt, the best boards in the whole world, manufactured on the North Shore of Oahu. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon for episode 7.